everybody. It's Laurie White, Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce, with another edition of Chamber TV. This is episode number 209, and we're really excited today to talk about a concept that is on everyone's mind, and that's financial wellness. Are we ready to retire? Do we have the right mechanisms in place? Have we thought about the right questions? Are we ready to be able to take that next step, whether it's, moving into a part-time job or whether it involves, sending your kids off to college? This is a ubiquitous question. So with that, we have some experts with us today from Marsh McLennan Agency. And just in the way of background, Marsh McLennan provides business insurance, employee health and benefits, retirement planning, and private client insurance opportunities. And today, as a longtime member of the Greater Providence Chamber of Commerce, what we're going to be doing is talking about specific wellness platform that they have developed. And with us today, we have two experts. We have Jennifer Sahady and we have Robert.Kelley. Both are subject matter experts in financial planning, wellness, all things, to be able to really think about your next step in life and to do that in a way that builds confidence and also builds expertise. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Robert to give us a little update on what MMNA ProsperWise is doing here in the community, your involvement in the chamber, and then we'll get to Jennifer and we'll go through the wellness platform.
Thanks, Laurie. Thank you so much for having us on. We're excited to talk not just about our program at Marsh McLennan Agency, which we call ProsperWise, but financial wellness in general and why it's so important to offer this kind of benefit to your employees. We talked, Laurie mentioned retirement, and that's certainly, forefront on everyone's mind. But there are also so many other financial issues that we all deal with on a day-to-day basis. And for most people, we don't have a trusted resource to turn to where we can go to get unbiased education, guidance, and advice, either learning on our own or speaking with a financial advisor that isn't going to try to sell us something when the conversation's all said and done. So that's why, Jennifer and I started this program at MMA. We wanted to go beyond just education. I know most of you that are listening to this call probably have sat through a retirement plan presentation before, where you heard about all the great benefits of saving, a little bit about the investments and so on. All excellent information and information that everybody needs. And Jennifer and I did those types of presentations and still do those presentations for years and years. But we discovered that people needed that one-on-one support after the meeting. And we were never able to provide that kind of one-on-one support for individuals. So that's why we developed this ProsperWise program, this financial wellness program, so we could not only, do these group presentations, but we could break it down on a one-on-one basis and answer the individual questions that we all have and do it in a way where we act as a fiduciary. We always have the employee's best interest in mind, and we don't sell anything. So when you put all of that together, we think we've got a great platform and a great program, and we're excited to talk about it.
We have a great slide deck that we're going to share with you today that really covers all of these things. To us, this isn't just a personal problem, it's also an employer and a company problem that we're trying to solve. So on the next slide, you'll see when we're talking about financial wellness, we're really thinking about what are your top concerns as an employer, as someone who's not only responsible for helping your employees have gainful employment, but also how do I recruit new employees? How do I, while I have these employees, increase their productivity, keep them with retention? How do I make sure they have that true wellness as employees so that I can get them and keep them? And you're going to see that all of these topics, if these are your main concerns, are concerns around financial wellness. On the next slide, we have some fantastic stats that really help focus on how financial wellness really touches all of these core areas of employer concerns. For one, productivity. right? 45% of employees are concerned about financial stress. I don't know if you personally have ever had any financial stress, an unexpected expense, a loss of income. It takes a lot of your attention, and the attention that's focusing on your problem isn't focusing on work, right? It leads to time out of work or distracted time at work. Financial stress really has a huge impact on workplace productivity. As well, financial wellness really has a big impact on people's wellness, right? When people are thinking about work things, they're thinking this is something that's happening now and it might not go away, right? 72% of people who have money stress are thinking this isn't going to get better. This is going to be something that is keeping me up at night, is distracting me while I'm at work. When it comes to recruitment, 87% of people said that they would be more attracted to an employer that cares about their financial needs and their financial wellness, right? We also have people focusing on how do we stay in that job, right? So when we're thinking about retention, recruitment, all of these things, if you're focusing on getting workforce and keeping them, and you don't already have a financial wellness program in place, you really might consider having one. If we can go to the next slide, please.
And I think, Jennifer, to that point, more employees are expecting their employers to provide these kind of services, and they really do appreciate them, and we see that firsthand on a daily basis. And so, well, when we think about, offering these kind of programs, of course, what's on everybody's mind is what is the cost? How am I going to be able to afford this? Where everyone's always, conscious of that. But studies have shown there's anywhere from a $3 return on investment for every dollar spent on these programs on the high side, and we've seen it down as low as $1.50 return on investment for every dollar spent, on these financial wellness programs. But the point is, for the most part, you are going to see these dollars come back to you. Now, it may not be $3 for every $1, like some studies show, but still, this is money well spent. It leads to lower absenteeism. So when people are dealing with their financial issues and they have to call in, for a sick day because of issues that they're dealing with, that day, it improves their productivity again because they're not dealing with their financial stress during the day on the job. It reduces healthcare expenses. The whole point of this is to lower your employees' stress levels, to make them feel better about their financial situation, to make them realize that they do have help, that their employer cares about their not only their financial wellness, but their overall wellness. And of course, financial wellness is such a big part of our overall wellness. And what we're able to do with our program and other, very good financial wellness programs is to tie in all of the great benefits that are available to your employees and be able to use them in a way that is going to again make everything more cost effective. So again, it's not just about the money being spent, it's what you're going to get back in return and what your employees are going to get in return when you offer these kind of programs.
And Rob makes an amazing point. I think you heard at the beginning, Marsh McLennan does retirement. We do EH and B. So when we look holistically, we're not just talking about retirement. In this open enrollment season, we've been helping people look at, do I have the right coverage? What does it mean to have an HSA versus an FSA? When it comes to money, it's so much more than just retirement. And as an employer, you offer so much, but it's not always easy for your employees to understand and get the most benefit of those amazing benefits you provide. All of that to us is included in financial well-being.
Look at life insurance, for example. We often talk to people that don't have life insurance or they're underinsured, and where do they go? The employee doesn't really know where to go for insurance or how much they might even need. Well, what we can do is for those employers that do offer life insurance benefits, either automatically employer paid or the ability to buy up, through their program, that's a great resource, and that's where we want to point them first for life insurance or any other benefits that they have available to them. So that's just an example of how we kind of integrate the other employee benefits that are available to your staff, so we don't have to go outside to look for other benefits. So we'll move to the next slide. So what does a successful program look like? Go to the next slide. You know, and Jennifer, if you don't mind, I'll just talk about this and let you take it from there. But what we often hear is employers might say, "Oh, we do offer a financial wellness program, through our retirement plan provider, through our record keeper." And certainly, most record keepers do offer some sort of educational pieces, on their website. They might offer, some short videos or a few articles on financial wellness topics. But what we offer goes way above and beyond that. And Jennifer, I'll turn it over to you to talk a little bit more specifically about that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rob. What we're really passionate about is more than just informing people or giving them resources and hoping that they use them and understand them. We really believe in custom tailored engagement. We give advice, which is pretty rare to find. It's not just education or guidance. We're looking into people's financial situations and helping them look very holistically at what's your best next step financially. It might be saving more for retirement, but it could also be, do you have enough in emergency savings? What does your budget look like today? How do we help you get out of debt and start using that money to start building towards your goals and dreams as opposed to just paying off that debt that built up from one reason or another? So when we look at the difference, to me, what's typically offered, right, that general information, articles on your site, is not much more than what the internet offers in general. I think all of us have access to the internet. It doesn't mean that we know all of the amazing things that are out there on the internet or how to find which things are right for us and apply it to our lives to help us and our families be successful and achieve true financial wellness. And to us, that's the difference, right? If you think, do we offer articles on our website? It's a very easy box to check. You've probably already checked that box, but will it yield those returns of retention and productivity that you're really looking for in supporting and keeping your employees? If we go to the next slide, you're going to see what we address as, I think, a lot of your top concerns. Rob, what are you hearing from people are their top worries? Is it just retirement planning?
Yeah, Jennifer, retirement planning is actually right now probably 4 or 5 on the list. Right now, the number one topic that we're getting in close to 80% of the financial consultations that we're doing are about debt and budgeting. Inflation has made things incredibly expensive, as we all know, and our dollars just simply aren't going as far as they used to. So whereas people's income, may not have gone down, they're finding that they have less money at the end of the month. They're finding that their credit card balances are increasing, each month, and they're saying, "How do I stop this? What's the best way to turn this around?" So people want help with budgeting. And again, those are some of the concerns that your retirement plan and record keeper just simply aren't going to talk to your employees about. They could point them to a video or point them to an article, but they're not going to be their accountability partner. It's a buzz term that we like to use, amongst our coaching staff, as we call ourselves. You have an accountability partner with us, so you have someone to check in on a regular basis to say, how did you do, this month, on your spending? Were you able to transfer those credit card balances to that lower rate, personal loan or a lower rate, credit card? We're able to answer these concerns that, again, your typical record keeper simply is not going to be able to do. And we do this without any sales, without, pitching any products whatsoever. And as I said, we are fiduciaries, meaning we always have their best interests in mind. And I always say it's very easy for us to be fiduciaries because, again, we have nothing to sell. So, of course, everything we do is always in the best interest of your employees. So, those are some of the differences I think that, our program offers compared to, a typical record keeper. Not to mention, our program is available to anybody within the household. of your employee. So that would be your spouse, the partner, maybe adult children, maybe parents that live with them. Anybody that lives within the household has access to our services. So it's about getting the whole household to feel like they're in a better financial place, that they're taking the necessary steps to be in a better place, in the near future. It's about giving people the hope that they can get to a better place. They're not just going to be in debt for the rest of their lives. People need a roadmap. People, very often people need, um, a step-by-step process. And these are some of the things that we can offer, to your employees. They can come back. They can schedule coaching calls with that same coach over and over again. So we become their personal financial advisor. And this is something that most employees are never going to be able to have on their own, simply because they don't have the assets that most financial advisors are looking for when they're looking for new clients. So that's another great thing about this program is our services are offered to everybody within the organization, whether they're the CEO or the lowest paid employee at the firm. So we'll go to the next slide.
Yeah, so as Rob was mentioning, to us, a true well-being program, it should do a lot of things, right? If you're truly searching for wellness and financial wellness for your employees, we want to think about what is the core issue that is causing that financial stress. Oftentimes, even when you're working with a financial advisor, you have to be the one asking the question. You don't have someone who is helping you look through the situation and helping identify problems and ask the questions you should ask, right? That comes up so often. It's this is the answer to the question you were asking, but here's also something you should be thinking about. Right? It should be something ongoing, not just point in time. You should have monthly ways to touch base and really say, here are some things that other people are facing. If you have questions about this, we have resources for this. We think that it really should integrate with all benefits. We don't think a true financial well-being program can act in a silo, not in just one benefit, not in just one employee, but as Rob was mentioning, their whole household. Finances are familial, they're not individual. We also want to think about how can we bring that family in. So oftentimes the employee might not be the one managing the investments in the family. They might say, my wife handles this or my husband handles this. Or they might want to bring in their kids, whether they are young kids just learning or whether they're boomerangs who've come back and you want to help teach them to leave the nest, right? We really think a true financial well-being program incorporates everything and everyone because money touches every part of our lives. So as Rob was mentioning, it's not just save for retirement, although we all want to retire. It's also, how do I have a budget where savings is possible, right? How do I get out of debt so that I can start using compounding for myself and to build my wealth and not just to pay off debt and support other people's wealth? We want to think holistically, right? Once you've built wealth, how do you protect it with estate planning? It really is every single part. And when you think about financial well-being in that light, I think it's really good to question, am I offering this? Can I offer this? Is this something I can bring to my employees? And as Rob was mentioning, this really makes it a lot easier for people to get the help they need because if their employer is covering it at a much cheaper price than what each individual would have to pay if they were going out on their own, we can really help promote better financial wellness in the workplace. So let's take it to the next slide and dive a little bit more into like the secret in our sauce, how we handle this total financial well-being platform and what we offer and why we think it's pretty awesome. Rob, do you want to share a little bit of our financial well-being approach?
Sure. Everybody learns in different ways. So you really have to, you know, meet people where they are for lack of a better way of saying it. Some people prefer to educate themselves, so you want to give them a platform where they can go and they can watch videos if that's how they learn best, or read articles. You want to make it personalized so that when somebody logs on to your financial wellness site, they're being shown information on topics that are relevant and important to them at that point. So our program learns about the individual. They learn Our program learns how this individual likes to learn. Do they, again, like to watch videos or read articles or take courses, so that we can show them, we can recommend content to them, right off the bat. And it starts with a financial well-being self-assessment. Everything is in short bites, quick bites, less than 5 minutes. They can go through our financial well-being self-assessment, and you can then learn a little bit about yourself as well, in the process. So we ask questions that are going to help people identify the areas where they need to learn a little bit more. So again, whether it's articles on health savings accounts, or videos on how to save for college, or how to pay my student loans off a little bit quicker, we're going to be able to offer them a little bit of everything in a way that they learn best. And of course, we as coaches, financial coaches, are always here to help them through the process. We're here, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. almost every working day, so that they have someone to turn to that they trust, that again has got experience, that has their best interest in mind, and can help them get to a better place. So again, it's the two programs together, the great website that allows them to learn the way they learn best, and the unlimited financial coaching for both the employee and their families, to kind of tie everything together. Jennifer, please feel free to add to anything
Yeah,
you'd like
absolutely.
to
I'm
there.
on the next slide. We have so many great slides to share with you. So, as Rob was mentioning, it really starts with the checkup, right? Whether you're doing that on the site, whether you're doing that with a coach, the question is, where are we at today? What are our goals? Where do we want to go? And how do we get there? One amazing tool we have for this is a money personality assessment, because it's more than just Excel budget sheets, which you can bet we have too, but it's also understanding the you in this total personal financial situation. How did you grow up? Right? What decisions have you made up to this point? And how does that differ maybe from your partner? And how can you leverage each other's strengths and be aware of some things that might be holding you back? Right? We also have ongoing interactive education webinars and things like that. And then we have very specific use case tools and information, so we can help people with courses and tools better understand the costs for college. We can look at a tool that helps you organize your student loans. And we also have right built into our site ways to access grants, live and active grants and scholarships to help you or your student get money for school. So it isn't just articles and videos, but also some interactive tools that will help you get to the solutions to really solve the problems you're having and achieve your goals. And all along, as Rob was mentioning, we have financial coaches to walk you through the site, to go through your resources, to go through your statements, whatever you want to share, whatever you have questions on. You have someone there, not just in that one session, but in unlimited sessions to support you towards your goals and to best use all the resources that we provide and that your company provides. On the next slide, you will see a little bit more about just a quick summary of what we do and really what sets us apart. Because as Rob was mentioning, you don't just want a static website where resources are available, although you do want that for those self-learners and self-study, because those tools are essential. But you also want that hands-on or that white glove approach where you have someone who is a licensed financial advisor, and as Rob mentioned, a fiduciary, and frankly, someone who cares an awful lot, who just wants to help you be successful. And to me, as a coach, I'm one of the coaches, I love when sometimes someone books an appointment and you say, "How can I help you today?" And they say, "There's nothing actually I want to work on today. I just want to tell you that I took your advice and I was able to set up that 529. I was able to get out of debt. And this was my first month where I got to use every single penny of my money just for me." Like, those feelings are amazing. And that's part of what's all included in this comprehensive financial wellness.
And I would just add, whether you're going to look at, our program, MMA ProsperWise Financial Wellbeing, or another one, just make sure that the coaches are fiduciaries. Make sure that sales aren't going to be, the ultimate goal, for these coaches. It's very difficult for most financial organizations to separate selling with, the education piece. So it might start out as kind of education or guidance, and ultimately it turns into selling, some sort of product or service to the employees. So whatever program you ultimately decide on, I'd say that would be the number one piece of advice I would give is, make sure that the advisors or coaches aren't actually selling anything when it's all said and done. Not that they couldn't help them buy. I mean, we help our participants, buy life insurance and open up IRAs and things like that. But we are not compensated in any way, shape, or form with those kind of services that we provide. Rollovers, for example. When we talk to somebody who says, "Oh, I've got 3 401ks at old jobs. I don't know what to do with them," we're going to talk about each one and explain all the benefits of rolling the money over to their existing employer, but also what the benefits might be to rolling the money over to an IRA or even leaving the money right where it is. So it's not an automatic roll the money over to your new, to the new employer's 401k plan. Let's talk and see what this individual is looking for. Are they looking for more investments? Are they looking for lower fees? And then we can help them make a decision on what's best for them. About 90% of what we do is education. Our goal is to educate the employees so that they can make very well-informed financial decisions on their own. But we wanted to go beyond that education. We wanted to be able to provide guidance and, when necessary, actual advice. But as I always say, when we do a good job educating, we don't have to do a lot of guiding. When we do a good job guiding, we don't have to give a lot of advice because the employees will know what to do. They're going to make informed decisions and they're going to want to make those decisions on their own. But we're here to give them advice in those situations where they just want our help.
And I couldn't agree with Rob more. I think a big part of this is empowerment, right? When you're given tools, when you're given resources, when you're given explanations and education, it isn't just that your money is being taken care of. It isn't just that you're on track for your goals. And those are two great things to have, but it's even more than that, right? It's knowing and understanding the path you're on and the decisions you make and how they impact those long-term goals, and really feeling like you're in control of your life, of your money, and of your future. And who couldn't want that? Right, as we turn to the next slide, let's share with you just a little bit more. I think we're always really proud of some of the things we've achieved. Rob, do you want to share some of our success stories as far as stats? I know a lot of people are number driven.
Sure. And again, stats, obviously they look good, as far as helping people build up emergency savings funds and even understanding the importance of doing such a thing. A lot of people, they might be in their 401k plan, but they don't have anything to fall back on if something were to happen, with their job. Um, but we look at each client individually and say, well, what is your biggest pain point? Is it that your participation level in the retirement plan isn't as high as what you'd like it to be? Well, we can focus on that. And again, this ultimately not only helps the employer, but it helps the employee as well, and that's so important. But as you can see, with this particular client, 15% increase in users contributing to the retirement plan, or getting the full match. So many people we speak to are contributing, 2 or 3% when the match might be up to 5 or 6%. So just getting them to understand what they're missing out on, and we could focus on those individuals that aren't receiving, the full match. But paying off the credit card in full every month, and how important that is, especially today with interest rates where they are. Many credit card interest rates are, nearing 30%. So again, if we can, help them understand the importance and maybe where to find that extra money to pay off those credit cards in full. And again, just having people feel like they're on track with their goals, whatever their goals might be. And as you can see, we've had a great success in doing that as well. So as I said, we focus on the employee, but we want to speak with the employer as well and say, what do you think the biggest pain points are, not only for you, but for your employees?
Yeah, and Rob makes a good point. Oftentimes, when we're partnering with our clients, we say, what is it that you want to work on? What's a question that you get often that we can help educate your employees and take that question, take that work off of your desk so that you can focus on what you do best? Because quite often, as a business owner, right, your employees' problems become your problems. And that's something we really seek to provide a solution for. You can do all of your planning right, but if your employees don't have that financial wellness, don't have that education, they impact the journey as well, right? So as you look in the next slide, to us, it's not just about stats. It's about the feedback we've received. It's about the things that you want to hear, right? We see positive behavior change across the board, increases to credit scores, which allow people to have fewer money problems, increases to savings, both as a percentage and as a balance. But to us, what's even more impactful are some of the things that we've heard people say. So if you look on the next slide, to me, like, these are just really heartwarming things, right? You offer all of these benefits, you pay good money for benefits. How often have you heard from an employee, this is the best benefit ever? Or how often have you had an employee that was so stressed about the market, about their savings, and then had the opportunity to speak to someone through your benefits and have the feedback that says, this person was a voice of reason in volatile times, or this person made approaching finances digestible and fun. Like, can you imagine doing the things we need to do, those important adulting steps, and doing it in a way that makes you feel reassured or maybe is even fun? Right? So some of these things are things that we're really proud of and we're excited that we got to share with you today. If we could go to the next slide, please. So we covered a lot today. We want to give you a chance to have some questions and engage with us. You can always reach out to us. Rob, what is the best way for people to contact us if they want to learn more?
Well, they can certainly reach out to me through my email address. I don't know that we have that up here, but I can certainly give it to you. It's Robert.Kelley, and Kelley is Kelley at marshmma.com. So that's certainly, the best way to reach out to find more information. And I'm happy to give my phone number as well if you think that's helpful. But again, email is probably the best way to reach out. But as I said, whether you are interested in our program or a different program, I think it's so important nowadays to offer some sort of financial wellness program to your employees. Where we have to deal with so much financially, nowadays, and when you don't feel educated enough to be able to make those decisions, it's an alarming feeling, to not know what to do, to not know what program to select, and when we're offered benefits, even, I don't know which one to select. It can be very, very stressful for the employees, and again, as I said, good programs like ours are able to provide so much guidance, so much, education and advice on retirement plans, on investments, on college savings, on debt and budgeting, social security, estate planning. I mean, there's just so much that we can offer to the employees, and we hope that again, you'll look to a program that can do the same, whether it's ours or another one.
I couldn't agree with you more. Laurie, do you have some questions for us? Things you want to discuss now that you've heard all of this?
Yes, that was amazing. I really enjoyed all the aspects of your presentation. I want to talk about the money personality. I thought that was really interesting because, unless you understand really what motivates you, whether you're an accumulator, you're a maverick, you're an idealist, you're a romantic, so all of the aspects that sort of make us tick as people really fuel our own financial health. We probably don't even realize it, but unless we understand our habits better, that is, really an eye-opening situation. But before we do that, I do want to break for just 15 seconds, and I want to show our viewers a very brief video from our partners at Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, and we'll be right back in just 15 seconds.
We all want better health. That's why Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, a Point 32 health company, offers employers and members access to whole health for all kinds of people and families. This way to better health.
Yeah,
So I love the question, Laurie. And if you don't mind, I will jump right in and take first stab at it, because I do think this is true financial wellness, right? When people think money, they think a budget, they think an Excel. They don't always think money personality, but that's such an essential part of the decisions you make and the outcomes you receive. So I have no problem sharing. I'm an open book. People can tell because I'm very extroverted, because I love extreme sports. They think that I'm also a very like a person who doesn't worry about risk when it comes to stocks or investments or money. But through my money personality assessment, it's very clear that I have a cautious money personality type. And this is really common with women, that we're really good at working, we're really good at earning, we're really good at saving and finding good deals, but we're not always as comfortable with investing that money. So how do you go from being a saver to being an investor, to not just building wealth, but having your wealth build for you? And that's such an amazing conversation to have, especially once you identify that that's a potential problem. If you're too cautious, you might be missing out on some amazing opportunities. So how do you identify if that's your problem? And then how do you get from where you are to what will lead you to success for your family? Rob, is there anything you want to add? I know you also love the money personality assessment. Laurie went straight to one of our favorite things.
I do, and that's probably our most widely used tool on our website, Laurie. You know, how many times have you said to yourself, this year is going to be different, right? I'm not going to be in the same situation. I'm not going to get into credit card debt. I'm going to be better, this year financially. And then only to find out you just end up in the same situation again and again. And a lot of that has to do with your money personality. So it's not only about identifying what your money personality type is, but it's also giving you some, really concrete steps of, now that you've identified this type of personality, what can you do differently? Here are some steps that you can take to be in a better or a different place, this time next year. So again, it's all about not just learning about yourself, but giving you solutions, to the problems that you may be facing, and that's just one of the tools that we offer.
Sure. So the audience for this particular platform, for this tool, is the employer, correct? So it is something that is an employer-driven decision, right? So that's the first step, right?
Absolutely. We support at two levels, right? Number one, we support the employer in retaining and attracting talent and answering those questions that they hear all the time from their participants and helping them with the problems they have on their desk. But we also serve the participants directly as well, right? So both the business owner and all of their employees could be able to use the website, use the resources, and speak with the coaches.
So give us a sense of what the financial commitment might be. Is it a sliding scale depending on the size of the business or the number of employees? How does that work?
That's exactly right, Lori. It is a sliding scale depending on the number of employees that that our clients have. We typically have a per employee per month kind of fee structure. So the more employees an organization has, the lower the the per month fee is for each employee. But when it's all said and done, the fees that we charge are typically, a small percentage, a very small percentage of what the overall benefits are costing that organization. So to have, an organization like ours not only be able to give advice, financial advice, but to tie together all of these other benefits that are offered for, a very, very reasonable cost, I think makes a lot of sense for most organizations. Now, I know some organizations might say, well, that's the employee's responsibility. They can pay for it themselves. So the cost can be passed to the employee as well. Most of our clients don't do that. Most of our clients absorb the cost themselves, and they, promote it as an employee benefit. But again, we do have clients that either pass the cost on through either the retirement plan fees or pass the fees on to the employees directly. So we're very flexible in how we can arrange this in the fee structure.
And it doesn't have to be 100% participation. So if an employer has 150 employees and 50% of them want to participate, that's okay, right? You're not looking for 100% census, correct?
In most cases, we do want this to be available to all the employees, or at least all the full-time employees. But to your point, Lori, I think we do work with organizations that say, well, we only want employees that are at certain levels or at certain locations to have access to this, and they have their own reasoning for that. So you can certainly segment the population if that is what the employer is looking to do. Offer it to certain employees, but not others for a variety of reasons. But we
Yeah,
can
I was
certainly do
thinking
that.
more. I wasn't thinking about selectivity. I was thinking more like opt in, opt out. Some people could say, "Hey, I've got a financial advisor, and I'm all over this, and I don't want to do the PM." In that case, it's okay, right?
It is okay. We can do that. But again, the greater the number of employees, the lower the monthly cost. So yes, if an employer said, okay, let's take a poll or something and see how many people want this, we can do that. That could be offered to only certain employees within the organization. But again, the fee might be a little bit higher per employee because there'd be fewer employees involved.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I was really surprised by, and this speaks exactly to what you were saying, Lori, is that my assumption was if people already have a financial advisor, they're not going to be as interested in this service. And surprisingly, they actually make up a large population of the people who use an education focused service, because the people who seek out financial advisors are people who care about their money and they're more involved. And as they start paying more attention and learning more, they want a second opinion from a fiduciary saying, well, why did my financial advisor do that? And why did I get that rate of return when someone else got a better rate of return? And like, what's really going on here? And can I be more involved in my finances? And can you teach me those things? Because usually financial advisors manage, they don't educate, which is a really big difference. So that was something I found really unique. We thought, okay, this is going to be used by more of the people who want to get out of debt. It's going to be used by fewer people with financial advisors or more assets. And we actually haven't found that through the data. It's really well utilized by people across the different levels of the organization, the different levels of income. And that to us is a sign that we are offering true financial wellness and something that a lot of people are looking for. It's been an incredibly underserved market.
Yeah, so it's kind of like checks and balances, right? So you talk about
Exactly.
the advisor and everything is roses and lollipops, but is it really? That's what you're suggesting, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you have to make a 1 year commitment to the program? Are there any time frames that are required for investing in the wellness platform?
No, that's a great question, Lori. And we don't want to make an employer commit to any length of time. We certainly would appreciate and like for them to, really give it some time. Sometimes these kind of programs, even though we do monthly outreaches, they take a little bit of time for employees to really understand, the importance or to really need the service. Sometimes, you might be financially fine right now, no questions, and then 3 months from now, all of a sudden, something is hit, and you really need, some help. So, we appreciate getting time, but that is not a commitment. Employers can sign up whenever they like. They can stop the service whenever they like. And I think that's another thing to look at when searching for a platform such as ours is there a commitment? Do I have to pay? What if my employees aren't using the service? Am I able to simply get out of it? That puts the onus on the provider, to make sure that we are providing the service. We are in front of your employees. We are providing a value um, for them that you're spending.
Fantastic. This has been really important information. Thank you for sharing it with our members. Thank you for walking through all of the steps with us. And for really emphasizing the point that employers really need in this day and age to be able to say that they care about their community, they care about their workforce, they care about their supply chain. And this is just another example of being able to show to your existing workforce and your potential workforce that you are a purpose-driven company that cares. I think you use the word cares, and that is so important today with the younger cohort in particular. That they're really looking for more. They're looking for companies that have a good sustainability track record, that give back to the community, that steward their resources properly, and also take care of their employees, whether it be on a day-to-day basis in the workforce, in the workplace, but also long term, right?
Absolutely. From what I'm seeing, especially 20, 30s, and up into 40s, people expect a paternalistic or a maternalistic culture, right? They're saying if the 401k is so important, auto enroll me, right? And we've done that. They say if I should be saving for emergency savings, set that up for me automatically and help me start saving. And we're seeing the legislation to try to support those as financial benefits. All the signs are pointing towards if you want new employees, if you want the next generations, we really have to shift the way we look at employees and really start thinking about how do I support them in their lives and not just how do I hire them, get them to do the work, and then let them have a balance between work and life. It really is all integrated these days, and it's the next step in financial wellness and the next step in benefits and employment.
Fantastic. So this has been a great conversation. We've been talking with Rob Kelley, Director of Financial Wellness and Consulting, as well as Jennifer Sahady, who is Senior Financial Wellness Consultant with MMA ProsperWise, Marsh McLennan. And we really have enjoyed this conversation. So as I end, call to action, Jennifer, if people want to follow up, or Rob, immediately, what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, I would say employee or an employer, take a moment to think about what you want to achieve, right? If you're an employer and you think I want to work on my workforce, this is a great next step. And Rob will share with you the best ways to get in touch.
Yeah, and just real quickly, I would add, cost obviously is important, right? And so that's one of the main things you want to look at, but also what services are offered. And again, I've said this a few times. Are my employees going to be sold, any products or services? And I really feel like that needs to be separated. But if you want more information, you can reach out to me directly, Robert.Kelley, it's Kelley at marshmma.com. That's probably the best way to reach out and get more information. And I'm happy to send you, some marketing information and answer any questions that you have.
Fantastic. So thank you,
Thank
and we
you.
will see everybody next time.
Thanks, Laurie.
Thank you so much, Laurie.